What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video from the 10-7 MMA channel. And we are back. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a bright pink shirt, this is our merch. 10-7. What's up? What's up? Looks pretty cool. Actually, I don't even think this one is available anymore because we switched the company that was making our merch to a new company. So we haven't gotten the pink tank top. There's another white tank top that is available and a white sweater. But anyways, rocking the 10-7. Let me see what Justin says. Justin, check this out.
Damn.
10-7 merch. Okay, that connection's looking good. So, by the way, guys, we had a little bit of connection issues on Monday, but Justin switched it up to his iPad. It's looking very, very good. So I'm excited. Why are you rocking that Lions thing? Are you?
Come on, man. You know I'm rocking Lions, dude. Lions. I'm trying to set my headset, connect my headset, so that's why I closed out, but I can still hear you.
Okay, yeah. By the way, the audio's fine. You don't even need to, but if you want to, go for it. Yeah, it's fine. I would just say, like, I think it's good to go. But yeah, got the Lions going on. Me and Justin are both from Michigan. If you guys didn't know, now you know. We got a lot to talk about. Justin's done some prediction videos. We got this entire fight card breakdown. Now we're going to be breaking down 4 of the fights on this entire card. But before we get into it, this isn't one of the official topics. Justin, can you turn your camera back on or no?
Yeah, I have to get through this iPad. I'm not familiar with it.
Okay. All right. So anyways, hey, Tehran says, what's up? What's up? Okay. What's up, man? How's it going? So one thing I wanted to get Justin's feedback on, in Tehran, I don't know if you know about this, but apparently we have, here, let me get Justin going on. So apparently, Justin, I want to get your thoughts on this. And, you know, Beneil Dariush, somebody you know, somebody who, Tehran's not very hyped for this card, he says. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not like as hyped as 324, but I'm still hyped. But I want to ask you a question. Beneil Dariush had a bad loss against BSD, got KO'd very quick. I think it was like 16 seconds, something crazy. He got finished. He's now saying that he missed weight, if you remember. He's now saying he wants to move up to welterweight. And I just wanted to get your opinion as a fellow fighter. I know you're a big fan of Beneil Dariush. You've met him before. I think he is, what is he, 39? Let me double check.
He's old.
He's no, he's not 39. Sorry, I totally made him older than he is. He's only 36. Actually, he's still 36, you can still probably be in your prime. I just want to get your thoughts. What do you think about this potential move? Do you think this is a dangerous move as a fellow fighter? Or do you think this is exactly what he should be doing if he wants to stay in the sport?
Beneil's not a very big guy to begin with. I think it's his last desperate. I think it's honestly a desperation attempt to try to make something of his career now. He's old. The weight cuts are getting harder. I get it, man. I mean, I'm 36. Making 155 is super tough. That's what I'm trying to always do, catch weight. I feel he's in a similar situation. He knows he can't, win a title at 155, but he wants to stay relevant. And I think going to 170, I don't think he's going to have any more success, but at least it'll make the weight cuts a lot easier.
Dude, it's such a crazy division. I'm trying to imagine Beneil Dariush against Morales, for example. Like, I don't know who he get matched up with at the beginning. Probably not somebody maybe that high up initially, but he's going to get matched up with somebody pretty difficult. Even just thinking about the top of the division, I don't know. It'd be very, very crazy, especially given his fight style. I think the fact that he's going to be lighter in that weight class, his strength is going to be compromised. Oh, Tehran says Beneil Dariush versus Kevin Holland. That's a cool matchup. If they did match them up, who would you? I would pick Beneil Dariush in that matchup. Who would you pick?
Kevin Holland, man. I mean, when Kevin Holland shows up, I feel he can beat anybody in the division. I think with his range, he'd keep Dariush far, and I think he'd knock him out.
Woo. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's an interesting fight and a cool matchup, but we shall see if they do make it. All right, let's get into the topics. We got a big card tomorrow. In my opinion, I guess Tehran is not that excited about it, but this is a big card because there is legacy stakes on the line. Merab will set the record if he gets this title defense for the most title defenses, successful title defenses in one calendar year, which would be 4 if he can get it done. I know you did a breakdown video of Merab versus Jan. This is Merab versus Jan 2, by the way. So this is a rematch. Obviously, Merab pretty much dominated Petr before 50-45. It was extremely dominant. I know you watched the tape. I know you broke it down. Justin, take it away. What do you expect tomorrow?
I mean, honestly, it was kind of boring watching these fights over again because it's just so much wrestling. I mean, when you're talking about Merab, when he's putting a pace on Petr Yan, a lot of people think, oh, well, he shot 49 times and he was, I heard this take and it was ridiculous. It's like, oh, he's afraid to strike with him. Now, Merab threw 380 punches in that fight. Petr Yan threw like 150. So how dare anybody say that Merab is afraid to strike? He outstruck him almost 2-1. His landing percentage was around the same. He had 49 takedown attempts, having 11 successful. You had Petr Yan with 5 takedown attempts, landing one of them. You know what I mean? So people are like, oh, well, they had the same percentage amount of takedown success. We're talking 49 takedowns, by attempts, 11 takedowns, 1-5. Like, come on, guys. It's and that's the other thing. Merab doesn't just shoot in for takedowns. He's not like Hamza. He sets his wrestling up with his right hand, with his 2-3, with his feints. He'll throw 2-3 feint. He'll throw that big overhand shoot across body. That's the one thing I mentioned a lot in the breakdown. It's not just like Hamza, who's going to come forward and just shoot right away. He is going to strike. If this was a kickboxing match, I would give Peter Yan the advantage, but it's not. This is an MMA fight. Merab, bare, no lucky punch, kick, or knee, is going to handle Peter Yan for 25 minutes again.
Now, what did you think of Merab striking against Sandhagen? What does that tell you that we can expect in kind of like the new and improved Merab that seems to be improving every fight and every title defense?
I don't want to say he's new and improved. I think he's just finding ways to use his striking to set up his wrestling, use his wrestling to set up his striking, because everybody's so afraid to get taken down by Merab that they're dropping their hands. And that's where he's landing these big shots, because Merab can land big shots. And whether you like him as a striker or not, his wrestling is so good, you have to be worried about his striking.
One last question. I want to get your thoughts as a fellow fighter. One thing that I'm really coming to respect about Merab is that he's not talking about moving up. I mean, look at Ilia Topuria. One victory. It's not even a title defense. He wants to move up. Islam, I think it made sense. The timing was right. But Merab said right now he wants to focus on his division. He wants to clean it out, and he wants to dominate. I like it a lot. I think it's actually cool that somebody just wants to stick around and smash everybody in bantamweight. As a fellow fighter, somebody, I know you're friends with him as well, but biases aside, just what's your take on a champion purely wanting to stay in their division and show utter dominance?
I mean, here's the thing. He's already shown utter dominance. When we did a breakdown a couple months ago before they changed the rankings, like, he had beat 8 guys in the top 10, and some of them he beat twice. And I know it's a little different now, but he's still at least beaten 5 guys in the top 10. I think the only guy that can hang with him is Umar Nurmagomedov. I think it's going to be a boring rematch, but I really hope Merab gets. Yeah, I mean, I'll tune in for it just because I like Merab as a person. Not so much I like his style. I think he has like 18 decision wins. I don't like that, obviously, but he's such an awesome guy that, look at this. Umar beat him. Sean O'Malley beat him twice. Peter Yan beat him. Corey Sandhagen beat him. Song Yudong hasn't faced him. Davison Figueroa, I don't know about that. Marlon Vera beat him. Mauro Batista, I don't remember. Henry Cejudo beat him. Like, the guy has beaten every. Oh, you're out of here? All right, see you, coach. All right, what time are you coming back?
As soon as
I think Zahabi could be an interesting matchup. David, I don't think he's fought Figueiredo yet, but Figueiredo was in line to fight him, but then Figueiredo took a loss, and so he kind of got taken out of title contention for the time being. But I think that could be interesting. Dude, I can't wait to see the Umar fight. If he beats Petr Yan and then rematches Umar and then beats Umar, which I don't know, but if he does, then maybe he could talk about moving up, I suppose, and then I'd be fine with it, because I'm not like, oh my God, I have to see him fight Zahabi, even though Zahabi's on the rise. I'm not freaking out if he doesn't fight Figueiredo or things like that. I think he's done plenty. And then, I'll leave it up to him. But I will say this. What I like is that he's not just sitting there like, oh my God, I have to move up. I have to get 2 titles. I feel like everybody's saying that. They want 1 or 2 title defenses and they want to move up. And it's kind of cool. But it almost like that's getting played out in my mind. I like the fact that he just wants to sit there and dominate, kind of like John Jones back in the day for light heavyweight. So that's my 2 cents. So you're predicting basically in this fight more of the same, pure domination from Merab. Are you predicting a finish from Merab, or are you predicting a decision win?
Decision win. I mean, that's what he does. He wins decisions. I think this is a tailored matchup. A lot of people are kind of upset about this matchup. I'm not really upset about the matchup, but I think the UFC is giving Merab this matchup to get that 5th title defense this year. I do think it's a favorable matchup. I think Umar is the much tougher fight.
Yes.
And I think he's gonna. I'm predicting this fight 49-46.
Yeah, Umar's going to fight in January, and then I'm sure if Umar wins, which I feel pretty confident that he will, then they're probably going to set up the rematch.
Something happened. Hold on. Something happened.
All right.
Hold on.
You can log off and jump back on. No worries. I'm going to read through some comments. We've got MGal4 Productions says, sup, boys. Merab is the best ever at 136 and 135. No, I'm just kidding. James, I'm excited for Gaethje to return. Going to be wild. Yo, Gaethje versus Patty is going to be unbelievable. Anybody who's complaining about Gaethje versus Patty, just be happy. Just stop with all the whining and the complaining about the UFC. It's getting old. Dude, why is like Ariel and all these other YouTube channels just getting upset? Like, it's here. It's happened. They made it. Let's be happy. Yes, it sucks for Arman Tsarukyan. I feel for him. I'm a fan of Arman Tsarukyan. He's actually really growing on me in terms of his personality, the way that he's just so like cutthroat. He's hardcore. He's a fighter's fighter. His eating videos are hilarious. I just saw him eat like 2 Big Macs at once on a private jet. The guy's a madman, but it is what it is. The fight's done. Let's just be happy and enjoy the entertainment. Let's not, I mean, do you get what I'm saying? People are whining so much in the sport. I'm getting tired of it. Josh Thompson actually made a great video on a show called Bad Takes talking about the constant negativity and whining in a lot of the MMA fan base. We're going to change that. Let's move it in the right direction, because all I got to say is 324 is lit. People want to be upset. It is what it is. UFC is the boss. They make the decisions. We just got to accept it. That's my opinion, but it is what it is. This could very well be Gaethje's last fight. Yeah, dude, it could be. Or it could be Gaethje winning the belt. Imagine if Gaethje wins the belt and he has 2 interim titles. That'd be nuts. That'd be nuts. MGAL4 Productions also says he loves MMA, and Tehran says, I'm all for Gaethje Patty. Yeah, let's go. Gaethje Patty is so lit. It's such a great fight. And again, I will say one more time, for anybody who's upset about the interim title, it's obvious why they did it. They had to do it so they could justify putting it above Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. And they had to do that because of the Paramount era, and it's a business decision. They need a banger fight at the top of the card. Look what happened with Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. Tom Aspinall quit in the middle of the fight, and it was so deflating. Even though the rest of the card was great, everybody remembers that, right? Everybody remembers it ending in a no contest. They cannot have that here. They've got a rare opportunity to make a first impression and to capture a massive new large audience from the existing Paramount subscribers. That's why they're doing back-to-back fights. They're doubling down at the beginning. So I get what they're doing. And if you truly love the sport, yes, sometimes meritocracy has to be sacrificed, but you should be happy because the rising tide will raise all ships. The more money that's coming in, the more viewership, the better for the fighters. By the way, people complaining about fighter pay. It's better for the fighters and better for the fan base, in my humble opinion. So there we go. MGAL4 Protection says Merab is on the road to being the GOAT. Islam as well. All right, let's move it along. The co-main, you made a prediction video as well. Justin, take it away with your expert opinion. What's going to go down with Pantoja versus Van?
Man, if you guys ever seen Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval, what an incredible fight. And,
I was there live, dog. I was there live. Remember?
Oh, my gosh. I'm not – oh, that's right, man. I'm not a big flyweight fan. I don't tune into the flyweight, so doing my homework on both these guys was a lot of fun because a lot of things I've never seen before, especially Joshua Van. And I tell you what I've gotten out of Joshua Van is I feel Joshua Van has incredible counter striking. He's a little bit shorter. He's 5'5". Pantoja's 5'5" as well. But when he fought Brandon Royval, he was staying his ground. Royval would come in with those long strikes and long kicks. But I tell you what, Joshua Van does his best work on the inside. He has incredible boxing. He does throw kicks, but it's not his primary. When you have Brandon Royval throwing a lot of kicks, he would just kind of wait for Royval to come forward. Now, where I think this fight is separated is, although Joshua Van has incredible boxing, he has a bunch of knockouts at the flyweight division, Pantoja is just the better overall fighter. Pantoja blitzes in with his striking. And then, and this is how I think the fight's going to go down. I think that Joshua Van's going to be holding his ground when Pantoja blitz, trying to land those counter strikes. And he might find success with that. But unfortunately, I think Joshua Van is he's going to be trying to hold out. He's going to be trying to hold his ground on those strikes, and then Pantoja is going to rush in with his striking and then take him down. And once Pantoja 100%. Gets on his back, he has the best rear naked choke in the flyweight division. I think he's going to take Joshua Van down when Joshua Van tries to hold his ground, take him down and sub him within 3 rounds.
It's gonna happen, dude. I totally agree with you. Listen, man, Joshua Van, boxing is amazing. Everybody's saying he's one of the slickest boxers in the UFC, and that's fantastic. The guy has
not a boxing match, though. It's not a boxing match.
Exactly. It's not a boxing match. He's only been training MMA 5 years, maybe 5 and some change. I just do not, unless he's just the most freakish athlete of all time, I do not see how you can go up against Pantoja with somebody with that type of grappling, with that type of wrestling ability, takedown ability, and as you mentioned, the best rear naked. I just don't see how he's going to be able to stave him off. I just don't buy it. So I'm with you, even though it's going to be a great fight, but yeah, that's how I see it going down as well. What were you going to say?
Yeah, and I just want to agree with you. And you have to look at Joshua Van's 24 years old. All right, I think this is the UFC putting him against Pantoja. Pantoja's 35. He has 30 wins, 5 losses. The experience factor is there for Pantoja. I think this is the UFC giving this young guy a chance to knock off, to do something great. But in the same sense, even if he loses, it's not that big of a deal. He's only 24 years old, and the UFC can range where Joshua Van is at in his career at 24 years of age, and see where his ceiling is. Because if he goes in there and just gets smoked by Pantoja, how much better is he going to get? Is he going to be able to catch somebody like Pantoja? But if he goes in there and wins at 24 years old, the ceiling for Joshua Van is unlimited.
Let me see the odds. Is he gonna? Is that even? Is anybody?
He's plus 210. Josh Van is plus 210.
That's not bad. That's not what I was expecting.
I don't think it's bad. Again, I don't think his wrestling and his grappling is there yet, but he can always land that counter strike and knock Pantoja out.
If he wins, I will be so that will be I can't believe the odds are like that. That to me is such a big upset if he does win with a different differential and experience, and like Pantoja's just on a tear. He seems unstoppable, but if he wins, and that would be amazing. That'll be an exciting new champ. But we need one fighter back in the flyweight division. You know who that is?
No.
Muhammad Mokaev. Where's Muhammad Mokaev? Yeah. What's going on, dog? We need Muhammad Mokaev back. That's the one guy that I think could beat Pantoja. I think if Van loses, which I highly believe he will, I think they need to really finally start talking to Mokaev. Mokaev apparently has a much better relationship now with the UFC, so maybe they can finally get him a new contract, bring him back, immediate title shot, and then we can have a real matchup for Pantoja, somebody who's very well-rounded. I think better, honestly. I think he's better. I think he wins. I think he's been putting in the work, so we shall see what goes down. MGAL4 Production says, Van is 2 years younger than me. Oh, okay, so you're what, 25? 26. And also he MGAL4 Production, he said, did you fly out of your chair when what's it called, Van dropped Royval at the end? Yeah, I think we all did. I can't remember, but I think everybody jumped up because it was pretty crazy. It was very back and forth and very amazing. The highlight of that night was still Ilia, because I think that was on the Ilia Topuria card. That was still the highlight. That blew me away that he got the first round KO. I wasn't exactly expecting that, but yeah, it was a fun night. We were really good seats. I went with my girlfriend, so it was really fun. All right, moving along. This is the fight that I am so fascinated by. Arguably the fight that I'm most excited about because, again, we have the stakes. We have Talbott fighting Cejudo in his retirement fight, getting an opportunity to beat a legend of the sport, a double champ. This is an unrivaled opportunity. There's no way you can get an opportunity bigger than this, and it's a very tough matchup. A lot of people are picking Cejudo, but Talbott's young. He's athletic. He had trouble against Hayoni Barsalis, if I'm remembering saying his name right. I can't remember. Barcelona. I already messed up his name, but he had a tough fight against him, being held on the ground. But now he's going against Henry Cejudo, the wrestling GOAT, arguably, but he's been working on his stuff. What do you see going down here? How do you think this is going to go?
What an incredible opportunity for Talbott, coming into the scene. I know you're big on him. I'm a big Henry Cejudo fan, the king of cringe. I've known Henry out of the cage a little bit. I've really liked talking to him. The little interaction I've had with him, I've really enjoyed every piece of it. He's just a great guy, and he sells fights, and I know he's the king of cringe. But I don't know. I like his WWE antics, and I really hope Henry Cejudo is able to pull it off. But unfortunately, I think this is the rise of Talbott, and I think Talbott's going to get him.
You know what's really cool about what's really cool about Henry Cejudo is that right now what he's been doing in all of the basically in the pressers and in the lead up, he's gone back to just normal Henry. He's not doing the cringe thing. He was actually amazing in the presser. I don't know if you saw it, but he was making amends with Brandon Moreno. He said some really nice words to him. A lot of people on stage gave him his props and his respect. Pantoja was like, dude, Henry Cejudo needs to get some attention. He helps a lot of fighters. He helped me. He helped Moreno. He helped Peyton Talbott actually trained with him. So Henry Cejudo is like transitioning to this, just like he's just being himself now. And I love it. I think it's awesome. He does have a great personality. I think the king of he tried it. It is what it is. Respect to him for being creative and trying to push the envelope to get some attention on the flyweight division. But now that he's actually just coming back to normal, it's just so refreshing. And you get to see that he's actually an awesome, like, passionate guy. Another way I've actually got to see him as well and see his personality. I know some people have been crapping on the Pound for Pound podcast, but I watch it. I'm a big fan, actually. I like Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman. I think they do a good job, and I think they have really good breakdown and technical analysis. So I'm a fan. I really like Henry Cejudo. I feel for him, but I do think Peyton Talbott's going to get the victory, and I'm rooting for Peyton Talbott. How exciting will it be to see, dude, if Peyton Talbott gets this win, he's going to skyrocket up in the bantamweight division. You talk about fresh matchups for Merab. Yo, this could be it. You know what I mean? Like, we could have Peyton Talbott maybe after one more fight, maybe not, maybe sooner. As you mentioned, he's beaten so many people. So it is what it is. We shall see. And Henry Cejudo, I think, is like number 9 or 10. So Peyton Talbott will jump up in the top 10, which is very, very exciting. All right, let's keep it going. We got to talk about this other fight. Now, this is a little lesser known fight. Okay. This is Jalen Turner versus Edson Barboza. Now, The reason why I want to talk about this fight and get your thoughts, by the way, for Edson Barboza, he fought at 317, I believe, or 319. I can't remember, but he was ahead of me in the line. He was like right in front of me. I was like, wait, who is this guy? I was like, oh, it's Barboza. He was there with this chick, and they were in security in front of me. I was like, oh, so cool. But anyways, he's coming in. I think he's like 39, about to be 40 in a few weeks. He's fighting Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner retired, if you remember, not too long ago. He said, I can't do it anymore. He had to take time off. He decided to return, which a lot of people are excited about. This is his chance to take down a legend and to jump up in the sport. How do you see this going in light of the fact that Turner was on the cusp of leaving the sport, Barboza's age, all of the above?
Man, this is one of those weird matchups because when Edson Barboza shows up, he's one of the best strikers ever in the UFC. He's dynamic, he can spin, he has some of the hardest kicks you could ever see. And then you look at someone like Jalen Turner, who also has incredible long-range striking. This fight has strikers delight all over it. I don't see either guy trying to take it to the ground. I'm really excited about this fight. I'm a big Edson Barboza fan. I really want him to show up. I really want him to show out because I'm not really sure where his career is going. I don't think he's fighting to be a champion anymore. I think he's just kind of fighting out his contract.
Yep.
But being an Edson Barboza fan, I would love to see him come in here and get a win.
I mean, that's cool too, but I would like to see Jalen Turner get that victory, have a nice shot, move his way up, because Jalen Turner is an extremely talented fighter. Didn't he finish Bobby Green? Am I remembering that right? I think it was him. Wait, I might be mixing him up.
I can't look it up.
I got you. Jalen Turner. I'm gonna see his record here. Am I remembering? Oh, and he beat Ignacio Bahamondes last year. Let me look. I might be mixing him up with. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, remember he smashed Bobby Green. He beat him very badly where they had like a super late stoppage. Then he lost to Moicano and he lost to Bahamondes. But now he's coming back. I'd like to see him get that victory. I'd like to see him keep climbing the ladder, and we shall see. Justin, there's a topic that I had pulled up specifically for you because I wanted to get your thoughts. And by the way, guys, if you guys could like the stream right now, we'd really appreciate it. It helps tremendously. We're on the rise. We're making a ton of content, so we really appreciate it. And let us know in the comments if you checked out Justin's prediction videos. I think they're some of the best in the game, and he does nice breakdown analysis, looks at tape, reviews everything. So to give you guys the best analysis possible, let us know what you think about those if you guys are checking those out. Here's my question for you. Malcolm Wellmaker, a guy who I'm very high on, prospect, 31. He's not a spring chicken, but he's an amazing athlete. He's had some incredible knockouts, many knockouts with that incredible left hook. And, he came in and he had a loss, and nobody thought that he was going to lose. He even thought that the UFC, he said in his interview, the UFC was serving him up somebody to smash. He did no research. He just showed up, went in there, and his team, he said, watched a little bit of tape, but they just thought they were going to get through. I think his name was Ethan Ewing, or I can't remember.
Ethan Ewing, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So they just thought he was gonna smash Ewing. It was gonna be no big deal. And then he had a lot of problems. And he said later, upon reflection, his team was like, yeah, it was a tough matchup, but we didn't want to worry you about it. We just took the fight. It is what it is. And then they've also talked about reflecting on the fight, how they shouldn't have gone so much sightseeing, how they should have been more dialed in and not brought the kids as a distraction or had them rest more. And he's looking at all these things. Here's the issue that is brought up. And I had a question for you about this earlier. He doesn't train at a big gym. He trains at a local gym in Atlanta. It's his team from the get-go. I believe he's the only fighter in the UFC from his gym. So his coaches don't really have a lot of experience with these big fight events. And I know you train at Extreme Couture, arguably the best gym on the planet, or at least one of them, right? At least second to none, at least put it this way, where you have a lot of experienced coaches, experienced guys that are there and know the preparation process. My question to you, do you think Wellmaker is making a mistake? And maybe it's hard to tell, right, without enough information. But do you think he's making a mistake by sticking with this very small team that seems to be a bit inexperienced, that's making these big mistakes on a big stage? Or do you think this is just par for the course and this is just how it goes?
I mean, it's to each their own. If it works for him, it works for him. But even coming from a small gym, I think he should be out exploring gyms. You have like Red Hawk Academy, you have Extreme Couture, you have Syndicate Martial Arts, you have American Top Team. He should be going to these other gyms, exploring what they're doing and exploring the success they're having, and then bringing it back to his own gym. I mean, this guy's making enough money right now where he can take a coach or even two coaches out to these gyms. They can still keep in their humble reserve, work with guys like Eric Nixick, work with guys like Dennis Davis, work with guys like me, explore, see what the big gyms are doing, and then bring it back home and really expand and grow as a gym. And if he's not doing these things, that's just like for me, Every time I was in a fight camp, I was trying to introduce a new coach. Dennis Davis is always my head coach. Roman Isbell is always, my striking coach. And then, throughout my UFC career, I bring Jake Shields in, or I bring Eric Nixick in, and we would just expand these or Fredson Pashow, because again, when you're working, you don't abandon your loyalty to your home gym. You don't abandon. You go find more information, and you try to build your home gym as a whole. And that's what he needs to be doing instead of switching gyms. I don't agree with switching gyms. I call them gym hoppers, because there's no loyalty to these people. You have to be loyal to, when you're not making money, those guys that are putting all their time in, then you start making money. You got to stay loyal to them. But I do think it's very important to expand your knowledge and bring it back to your team.
So if you were him or on his team, you would say, all right, you're going to go spend a month at Extreme Couture or something like that, or spend a month at Syndicate. Is that what you're basically saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And as your head coach, bring your head coach along. Bring your head coach, go rent out a room, get it in, and hey, link up with, Eric Nixick or myself or Dennis Davis, and be like, hey, all right, Wellmaker, and here's your coach. Like, this is what we're doing. And it's like, all right, we can teach, you can build, and then you can take it home, and then you'll have your whole gym practicing the fine nuances of what the big gyms are doing. And that's the most important part of evolution and evolving as a gym.
When you hear about these mistakes, like, oh, fight week, they didn't focus enough on their sleep, they didn't watch tape, are these red flags in your mind? Are these like things like, dude, what are you doing? Or are these things that you're like, nah, it's just bumps in the road. It's you can learn from it, and it's not that big of a deal.
Well, here's the thing. Excuses are like assholes. We all have them. Here's the problem. Had Wellmaker went out and won, we wouldn't hear about all these things. All right. He lost, and he's making excuses. If he went out there and starched, Ewing, he wouldn't be talking about his bad sleep or bringing his parents or his kids or whatever. We wouldn't be talking about that. He lost, so he's instead of looking at himself in the mirror and saying, "Hey, look, I went out there and I underperformed," he's looking to blame it on other reasons, and he's trying. And I hate that. Listen, his kids weren't out there in the cage. His you know what I mean? Like, and if he's not getting a proper amount of sleep fight week, shame on him. He's not taking his fighting seriously, and he's deserved to lose. And to make the excuses, I just hate that. I hate when fighters do that.
31, had that loss, unexpected. He's going to get back in there. He seems like he has a positive attitude. Do you see, from what you saw in that fight, from what you see in his skill set, do you think he's just going to bounce back, no problem, and still be a rising star?
No, he's already blamed it on other reasons. So now if he goes out and loses again, what's his next excuse? You know what I mean? He needs to accept the loss as a whole and be like, hey, you know what? I went out there, I underperformed, and I'm going to dot all my I's and cross all my T's going forward, because if he loses again, now he's going to lose a lot of momentum, and what's his next excuse?
Fair enough. Okay, as I know you're going to have to jump off in a second, and guys, I'll stay on a little bit longer and keep chatting with you. But there
is something I want to talk about before, but it's not nothing to do with Wellman.
Oh, no. Go for it. Jump into it.
I made a video last night as I'm doing my research on Merab, and man, it was just the craziest topic. And I thought, well, first when I saw the headlines, I saw it on Yahoo Sports, and I was like, this can't be true. So I dug a little bit deeper, and Ali Abdelaziz, I'm going to say he's a friend of mine. We plan to have him on the show, and it's a funny story, guys. So like, I was trying to get a hold of Ali, and me and Ali and I'm texting him. I have his phone number, Ali Gym, Ali Extreme, and this and that. We're going back and forth. He's talking about how he's going to be on our podcast and this and that. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. It turns out I was talking to a girl that I met on Tinder like 10 years ago. Her name was Allie, and I had Allie sell, and I thought it was Ali, and her and I are talking to me. She's like, oh, I'd love to come on your podcast. And then like the day before, she texted me. She's like, I just don't understand why you want me on your MMA podcast. And I'm like, wait a second. And I'm like, who is this? And she's like, this is Allie that you met on Tinder like 15 years ago. And I was just like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. But anyways, Ali comes out and says that Ronda Rousey versus Kayla Harrison will be a bigger match than Habib and Conor McGregor. And I was just like, there's no way he said this. I looked it up on MMA Junkie, and Ali did come out and say this. I mean, there's no women's fight in the world. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey hasn't won a fight since 2015. And then he proposed, I think Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano should fight. Gina Carano hasn't won a fight since 2009. And then the winner should fight Kayla Harrison as the biggest grudge match in female sports history. Ali, I love you. I think you're a great manager. But that is the dumbest take I've ever heard in MMA. Not just women's MMA, but MMA ever as a whole. And I made a video about it. I showed the interview of Ali, and I'm just curious what our viewers think of how stupid this matchup would be.
Well, here's the thing, and I know it would be terrible. I know Kayla Harrison would run through Ronda Rousey in probably 15 seconds. She would not even first round, 15 seconds. She would annihilate her. I think as you mentioned, Ronda Rousey hasn't really been training for a while. She kind of has antiquated technique. Her striking, from what I recall, I feel like my striking is better, to be honest. So I don't even know if there's going to be. It's not even going to be an interesting fight whatsoever.
You want to talk? I'm done.
But here's the thing, okay? And I know Ali's. I know that it's not not going to be anywhere close to Khabib versus Conor. But I think what Ali's point is, you have Ronda Rousey, the biggest star, the biggest female star ever in the history of the UFC, coming back. That will draw eyes. They can show the footage of her beating Kayla Harrison in a judo match back when Kayla Harrison was 15 and she was 19. So they can build it. I don't think it's insane from actually getting eyeballs onto the sport. A lot of OG fans who haven't seen Ronda in a long time will probably come back and be like, oh my God, Ronda's returning. So yes, but is it a legitimate matchup? No, it's stupid. And it is what it is. But I think, like, I get what Ali's doing. He's trying to get Kayla Harrison big fights and get paid. Yeah. But this fight coming up is amazing. Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. Do you have any thoughts on how that one goes down?
I think Kayla Harrison ragdolls her. I really do.
I do too. I think it's.
I don't see anywhere that Amanda Nunes, even if she is a better striker, once Kayla gets her hands on her, I mean, she's going to take her down and deliver a lot of damage.
I don't even know if she's a better striker. I mean, because
maybe in hypothetical land, let's say she is.
Yeah,
she's not a better wrestler. She's not better judo. She's not stronger. She's not bigger.
Those grappling skills translate into, I remember I told you, and I know you don't like fully agree with exactly the way this is said, but MMA Joey has said that Islam Makhachev, for example, is the best striker in the UFC. It's because of the threat of the takedown. It's because of the wrestling that he mixes into his game. I think it's going to be something similar with Kayla Harrison. She's going to be able to mix in all the other elements. Amanda Nunes is going to be on the defensive, wondering, hey, when is the shot coming? When is the grappling coming? When is the hip toss coming? Whatever. And that's going to benefit her striking. I think she's bigger too. I'm pretty sure she's bigger and just like more muscular. I think all of these aspects are going to play in Kayla Harrison's favor, and I'm stoked for it. I'm just excited that Amanda Nunes is taking the fight, because Kayla Harrison, next to what's her name, Dakota Ditcheva, is my favorite female fighter out there, current favorite fighter in the UFC. So for her to have a chance to get this victory and finally truly cement her legacy as the big dog, I think it's dope. So I'm excited for this card. Last question real quick, and I know you got to go in a second. You just let me know when you got to go. You're okay, right? We talked about this before. You're okay with Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes being the co-main as opposed to the main, right? I think we were on the same page on that.
I'll be honest, I never want to see women's as the main event. It's not sexist. It's just, it doesn't draw the eyes. And I just think there's so many flops. And I'm not saying there aren't flops in men's matchups. I mean, there's a lot of matchups. If you remember Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis, I mean, there's several that I can go through or you have Tyrone Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. These were huge male flops. But I just think, and there are some incredible MMA fights. If you saw like Wana Jacek versus Weili Zhang, like arguably one of the best fights I've ever seen. But I feel when it comes to women's MMA, it's more prone to go to a decision. It's more prone to be a boring matchup. So I think keeping them in the co-main and I don't know, man. And I know it sounds sexist, and I know a lot of women fighters will probably disagree, but there's a better chance for a women's MMA fight to flop than a male's MMA fight. And the sport just has more male fans than it does women fans.
It's kind of, people have talked about it, and it's not sexist. It's just reality, sadly. But like, it's the same thing when we have male and female sports in the NBA and WNBA. There's a massive difference between the fan bases. It's the Paramount card. People, you just have to accept it. I know Ariel Helwani went berserk on this, but it is what it is. We have somebody new to the show. Do people just go on and make funny names and then like make a new one for because it's like, what is this? You know what I mean? But anyways, hello, back to you. Thank you for joining today. We really appreciate it. We got some exciting stuff. After next weekend, there's going to be a break for the UFC for like 6 weeks. So we're going to be able to do a lot of like end of the year shows. We're going to be talking about like just fun topics, hypothetical matchups and things like that. We also got one big fight coming up on Netflix. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is coming up on December 20th or 19th or something, which is pretty crazy. We'll be talking about that as we get closer and closer. Last but not least, did you see the news about Netflix today?
No.
They're like buying, I think they bought or they're about to buy HBO and some other, here, I'll tell you exactly what they're doing. They bought HBO, by Warner Brothers and HBO. Netflix is buying Warner Brothers. What the heck? So, anyways, I don't know how this is going to play out in terms of them being into the fight game and combat sports and whatnot. But I just thought it was an interesting announcement. So we'll see how that plays into the entire sport and the landscape. All right. Justin, how are you doing time-wise? You got to roll out.
I got to go as soon as you have any more questions, because
No.
I gotta get to this.
You go do your thing. I'm just going to chat a little bit with the crew here. If anybody's got any last-minute questions, thank you so much. And then, hey, me and Justin are going to be out in Montana next week commentating for Fusion Fight League. Let's go.
And I'm going to Merab live tomorrow. Woo woo.
Wait, what?
I'm going to the Merab fight tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. You got tickets.
So I'm going to try and do a video at the venue, and I know I'm going to have really good seats. One of my clients bought us a bunch of tickets, me and Ben tickets, so I know I'm going to have good seats, and I'm going to try to do a video actually from the event.
Oh my God. All right. Well, have fun, Justin. Amazing. Thank you for joining. Good luck with your wrestling practice, and I'll close out the show. Take it easy.
I got a tournament today, baby. Let's go.
All right. Good luck. Good luck. Everybody wish Justin good luck. All right. Peace out. All right. Now, as we close out the show, guys, we got some exciting things happening at the end of the year. This is it. This is the end of an era. Guess what happens tomorrow after this fight, or maybe after next weekend? I am canceling my ESPN Plus subscription. I'm so excited about that because ESPN Plus has not been the easiest app to use. So that's going to go to the wayside. And then I'm immediately signing up for Paramount Plus. You know, I might actually cancel all my other subscriptions and just be straight up Paramount Plus and not have subscriptions anywhere else, but we shall see how that unfolds. And then I'm very excited for the Paramount era. I think as we close out today, for all of us UFC fans and fans of mixed martial arts, we're on the precipice of a new catapulting structure for the UFC and for all us fans. I think it's going to be amazing. I think we're entering into a true golden era. And I think instead of all the complaining that so many people do, we should just be appreciative and acknowledge how awesome it is right now, how many amazing, fun, interesting matchups there are. And it's a great time to be a fan of the UFC. That's all we got for you guys today. Let us know in the comments what you think of everything we talked about today. Give us your predictions and thoughts as well for this fight card. And that's all we got. We will see you again Monday, 1:30 p.m. PST, and we'll chop up and review this entire fight card on Monday. Until then, we shall see you guys next time. Take it easy.